Good morning. This is Shindo. Earlier I did a video about an hour ago on the economic crisis coming. As I have said thousands of times, first the economic crisis, the financial collapse, if you will, is going to happen. Then you're going to see the war. Well, increasing tensions, of course, over Syria with the United States and Russia. This is from Reuters. U.S. weighs tougher response to Russia over Syria crisis. Officials. This, of course, will be in the description box. The link to this article. Obama administration officials have begun considering tougher responses to the Russian-backed Syrian government assault on Aleppo, including military options as rising tensions with Moscow diminish hopes for diplomatic solutions from the Middle East to Ukraine and cyberspace, U.S. officials said on Wednesday. The new discussions were being held at, quote, staff level and have yet to produce any recommendations to President Barack Obama, who has resisted ordering military action against Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in the country's multi-sided civil war. But the deliberations coincide with Secretary of State John Kerry's threatening to halt diplomacy with Russia on Syria and holding Moscow responsible for dropping incendiary bombs on rebel areas of Aleppo, Syria's largest city. It was the stiffest U.S. warning to the Russians since September 19th collapse of the truce they jointly brokered. Even administration advocates of a more muscular U.S. response said on Wednesday that it was not clear what, if anything, the president would do, and that his options, quote, begin at tougher talk, unquote, as one official put it. One official said that before any action could be taken, Washington would first have to, quote, follow through on Kerry's threat and break off talks with Russians, unquote, on Syria. But the heavy use of Russian air power in Syria has compounded U.S. distrust of Russia, President Vladimir Putin, geopolitical intentions, not only in the 5.5-year civil war, but also in the Ukraine conflict, and what, as U.S. officials say, are Russian-backed cyber attacks on U.S. political targets. The U.S. official said the failure of diplomacy in Syria has left the Obama administration no choice but to consider alternatives, most of which involve some use of force and have been examined before but held in abeyance. These include Gulf allies to supply rebels with more sophisticated weaponry, something considered more likely despite Washington's opposition to this until now. Another is U.S. airstrikes on Assad Air Base, viewed as less likely because of the potential for causing Russian casualties, the official told Reuters, speaking on condition of anonymity. The options being weighed are limited in number and stop well short of any large-scale commitment of U.S. troops, which Obama, who is only 4 months left in office, has long rejected, the official said. Critics of Obama policy in Syria argue that he has set a goal, Assad's departure, without providing sufficient means to achieve it by arming the rebels earlier and more extensively, allowing U.S. allies to do so, or the U.S. military might to tip the scales in the conflict. Further, foreign policy experts inside and outside the administration have said Obama erred when he pulled back from launching airstrikes on Syria to enforce a, quote, red line he set against Assad government use of chemical weapons. The result, they argued, was to diminish U.S. credibility in Moscow, Damascus, and everywhere else, because the perception took hold that Obama would not keep his word and follow through on his threat. U.S. administration caught off guard. 2 U.S. officials said the speed in which the Syrians have advanced in Aleppo and the diplomatic track has collapsed caught some of the administration off guard. The fall of Aleppo will restore Assad's rule over western Syria, most important city and deal a devastating blow to the rebels. As a result, one of the officials said, the list of options is narrowing to support rebel counterattacks elsewhere with additional weaponry or even airstrikes, which, quote, might not reverse the tide of battle but might cause the Russians to stop and think, unquote. Another official said any weapon supplies would not include shoulder fire, anti-aircraft missiles, or man-pads, which the Obama administration fears could fall into the hands of the Islamic State militants or al-Qaeda-linked groups. The most dramatic options under consideration, but considered less likely, would be U.S. airstrikes on a Syrian air base far from the fighting between Assad's troops and rebel forces in the north, officials said. Other ideas are consideration includes sending more U.S. special operation forces to train and advise Kurdish and Syrian rebel groups and deploying additional American and allied naval and air power to the eastern Mediterranean, where a French aircraft carrier is already en route. U.S. officials have considered a humanitarian airlift to rebel-held areas, which would require escorts by U.S. warplanes, but this has been deemed too risky and has been, quote, moved on the list, unquote, one official said. State Department spokesman John Kirby said on Wednesday that U.S. officials involved in the insurgency process that deals with national security has discussed other Syria options, quote, that don't revolve around diplomacy, unquote. He declined to elaborate. U.S. officials cautioned that no decisions were imminent, with Defense Secretary Ash Carter traveling and Obama and other senior officials planning to attend former Israeli leader Shimon Peres' funeral in Israel on Friday. Well, folks, it's really not difficult. It's not difficult at all to tell you what Obama is going to do. Nothing. He's going to do nothing. It's not sure as hell ain't going to do anything when he's only got 4 months left. So this is going to continue. This is going to continue to. What's going to happen is Russia and Syria are going to continue to push out the rebels, which, by the way, some of the rebels are, terrorists, but for years, since before the Obama administration, the U.S. has gotten its big game plan revolved around taking Syria. So that's why we're in the situation we are in now. So let me tell you what's going to happen. Absolutely certain what's going to happen. Obama's going to do nothing, which is going to cause Russia, Syria to continue, and other countries across the world, like North Korea, to continue to flaunt in our face as Americans how much of a paper tiger we are. I mean, we're worthless when it comes to the military right now. We're worthless. However you want to, however you feel about that, our military is worthless without, leadership, which we have none of. So the pendulum is going to turn the other side. It's going to turn the other side. It's going to turn big. It's going to turn big. After the next Trump administration becomes president, commander-in-chief, and emperor over the United States of America, what he's going to do is he is going to start going after these people. He is actually going to flex the American muscle and make these people wish that they hadn't screwed with the United States. Then, from a position of power, from a position where we actually have the upper hand, the United States, he is going to broker a peace. And I figure this probably will be about this time next year before all this goes down. What we're going to see is a huge pendulum shift. Huge Huge, like we'd never seen before. Huge with Trump. Huge. So, whoever out there who actually watches my videos, I can't imagine, but whoever out there supports Obama and supports the Democrats, folks, whatever you support, you can pretty much just throw out the window, because we're about to see a huge pendulum shift against you, against political correctness, against these people who seem to think that they're social justice warriors, and against any country that is making us Americans not look so good on the world stage. So that's what's going to happen. Sure of it. Sure of it. I will also say this. I have a strong feeling, and it's only a feeling, so take it for what it's worth, that something's going to happen today. Donald Trump is going to say something or do something today that's going to be significant, today being the 30th of September 2016. He is going to be in Grand Rapids, Michigan today, Trump. Now, let me tell you this, that this channel, this YouTube channel, was not established for me to explain my perception of the news. It's not my purpose in life. My purpose in life can be found in my other videos, my other Gnostic videos. You are going to see a box to a link to another video. You're going to see